Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. Today we're heading to the Himalayas.
To the mountains.
Yeah, but not for the reasons you might think. Not for the views or the hiking this time.
Right.
We're diving into the music of the region, specifically how Himachal Pradesh in India has had this kind of hidden influence on Indian classical music. And we've got a really cool mix of sources for this deep dive. Everything from festival descriptions to analyses of miniature paintings. We'll even look closely at some unique instruments. So get ready to discover how the sounds of the mountains have echoed through centuries of musical tradition. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a fascinating journey, and one that often begins with the really vibrant folk music of Himachal.
Okay.
Now, while many of these folk music forms are primarily dances like Nadi and Jori, the melodies within them actually have these deep connections to Indian classical ragas.
Okay, that's intriguing. I've always been drawn to Raga Yaman, It's so evocative and peaceful. Does that have any connection to the melodies found in Himatali folk music?
It's interesting that you mentioned Raga Yaman. It's known for its evening mood and often invokes feelings of tranquility and reflection. And while it's not directly linked to a specific folk tune, Raga Yaman, like many other ragas, embodies a melodic framework that's built on scales and patterns.
Right.
And these same principles underpin a lot of Himachali folk music, even if the tunes themselves are distinct. This shows us that there's a shared foundation, a deep-rooted connection between the seemingly separate worlds of folk and classical traditions in the region.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's more about a shared musical language than exact melodies. It's like you're speaking different dialects but understanding each other perfectly.
Precisely. And this connection isn't just limited to dances. The music used in Himachal's many temples, especially the chanting of mantras, frequently aligns with classical traditions.
Okay.
It's not uncommon to hear mantras chanted in specific ragas, further blurring the lines between what we might categorize as folk or classical.
So the classical influence isn't just an artistic choice, it's woven into the spiritual fabric of the region. It's like classical music is breathing in the air itself.
That's a wonderful way to put it.
Yeah.
And to fully appreciate this connection, we need to explore the unique soundscape of the Himalayas. Himachal Pradesh is home to some truly remarkable instruments that have found their way into Indian classical music.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. What kinds of instruments are we talking about? Is this where we get to the sitar and tabla?
Well, those are certainly cornerstones of Indian classical music, but Himachal offers a different flavor. Have you ever heard of the Rumdang or the Karnal?
I can't say that I have. Are those the string instruments that I always see in those beautiful Kangra paintings?
Those are fascinating, and we'll get to them later. But the Rumdang and Karnal are actually wind instruments.
Oh.
They have a haunting, almost ethereal sound, and they're often used in ceremonies and rituals. And while they remain firmly rooted in Himachal's folk tradition, they've actually influenced some classical compositions, adding a unique texture and color to the music.
That's so cool. It's like these instruments carry the whispers of the mountains within their sound, and now those whispers are echoing through classical music halls as well.
That's a beautiful image. And there are other simpler instruments that act as bridges between the folk and classical styles.
Okay.
Take the Ektara, a single-stringed instrument, and the chunj, those small cymbals which are ubiquitous in folk music. But they also add rhythmic accents in classical settings.
Right. I've definitely heard those cymbal sounds before, but I never realized they had such a versatile role. It's like they can be both the heartbeat of a folk dance and a subtle shimmer within a complex raga.
And we can't forget the percussive power of instruments like the nagada and dole. While they're deeply ingrained in folk traditions, their rhythmic complexity has always earned them a place in Indian classical music as well.
So we've got this fascinating blend of folk melodies and unique instruments that have all contributed to Indian classical music. But what about the people behind the music? What role have Himachali musicians played in shaping this tradition?
Well, Himachal Pradesh has been a cradle for some remarkably talented musicians who have made significant contributions to various gharanas of Indian classical music.
Now you're going to have to explain what a gharana is. It sounds important, but I'm not quite sure what it refers to.
Think of gharanas like distinct schools of thought within Indian classical music. Each gharana has its own lineage, its own style, its own unique approaches to ragas techniques, and even specific compositions. It's like different philosophical schools, each with its own interpretation and expression of a shared musical language.
So it's not just about playing the sitar or singing in a raga. There are these whole lineages of musicians who have developed their own specific styles and approaches that's so much deeper than I initially realized.
Exactly, and Himachal Pradesh has produced musicians who have enriched these various gharanas with their talent and perspective.
I remember reading about Dr. Lalit Gupta, a master of Hindustani classical music. Didn't he play a significant role in bringing Himachal's musical influence to wider recognition?
Absolutely. Dr. Gupta's work in reviving and promoting traditional Himachali music, while also being a renowned vocalist in the Gwalior Gharana of Hindustani music, brought him national acclaim. He served as a bridge between these worlds, showcasing the depth and beauty of Himachal's musical heritage on a national stage.
Wow.
And he wasn't alone, Batter. Many other musicians from Himachal have blended folk music with classical genres, showing just how deeply those roots run.
That's incredible. It's like they're weaving together the threads of history, tradition, and personal expression. But wait, there's more, right? You mentioned something about miniature paintings earlier. What role did they play in all of this?
Ah, yes, the Kangra Gharana. Now here's where things get really interesting. The Kangra Gharana isn't a school of music. It's actually renowned for its miniature paintings.
Right.
However, it has a profound connection to Indian classical music.
Okay, that sounds pretty unexpected. How can paintings be connected to music? Do they have hidden musical scores or something?
Not quite hidden scores, but something much more evocative. Many Kangra paintings depict scenes from Indian classical music. You'll see musicians playing instruments, often nestled in these beautiful natural settings, creating a sense of harmony between nature and music. It's like they're capturing the essence of ragas in visual form.
Wow, that's fascinating. It's like they're freezing a moment in time, allowing us to see and feel the emotions that the music might have evoked. It's music you can see.
That's a beautiful way to describe it. And this connection speaks to a broader idea in Indian art, where music, visual art, and spirituality are often interwoven, each enriching the other. So we've got folk melodies, unique instruments, talented musicians, and even paintings that capture the soul of ragas. It's like Himachal Pradesh is a hidden treasure chest of musical riches.
It truly is, and we've only just begun to uncover its secrets.
Well, this deep dive is already exceeding my expectations. I'm ready for more.
Then let's continue our journey. We still have much to explore, including how the very landscape of Himachal Pradesh has inspired its own unique set of ragas. Lead the way. I'm eager to hear what other musical wonders await us.
Let's do it.
And we're back for more of this deep dive into Himachal Pradesh and its influence on Indian classical music. In part one, we uncovered those initial connections between folk and classical traditions, the unique instruments, and even how visual art gets into the mix.
It's remarkable how deeply music seems to be ingrained in the culture of Himachal Pradesh, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's like music is everywhere, from those lively folk dances to the serene settings depicted in the Kangra paintings. But I'm curious, we talked about temples and the chanting of mantras and ragas. How widespread is the use of classical music in religious settings throughout Himachal?
Well, temples in Himachal Pradesh have always been vital centers for the development and preservation of devotional music, especially in regions like Chambakangra and Kulu areas rich in temple culture.
So it's not just about chanting mantras then?
It's so much more than that. The use of ragas permeates many aspects of temple rituals and ceremonies. Imagine the sound of traditional hymns and prayers, infused with the melodic structures and emotional depth of classical ragas. It creates an atmosphere of profound spirituality, weaving together sound and devotion in a truly captivating way.
I can only imagine. It's like the music becomes a language of the soul, a way to connect with something larger than oneself.
That's a beautiful way to think about it.
Yeah.
And it's not limited to just Hindu temples either. The Bhakti and Sufi traditions, both deeply intertwined with Indian classical music, have also found a home in Himachal Pradesh.
Okay, I'm familiar with the term bhakti, but could you refresh my memory on how those traditions specifically relate to Indian classical music?
Of course. The Bhakti movement, which emerged centuries ago, emphasized a personal, emotional connection with the divine. Devotional songs became central to this movement, and these songs were often set to classical ragas. Think of the iconic songs of saints like Kabir and Mira. Their poetry set to ragas like Bhairavi or Yaman. These melodies carry centuries of devotion and continue to resonate in the hills of Himachal.
It makes me think about those lines from Kabir's poetry. The raga is my companion, the rhythm my guide. It seems like he truly understood the power of music as a spiritual tool.
Absolutely. And then we have Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam that also uses music as a pathway to spiritual enlightenment. The Qawwali music of Sufism, often performed with soaring vocals and passionate rhythms, shares a deep connection with Indian classical music, particularly in its emphasis on improvisation and emotional expression.
So both Bhakti and Sufi traditions have contributed to the rich tapestry of devotional music in Himachal Pradesh, and both have those deep connections to Indian classical music. It's fascinating how these diverse influences have converged in this region.
Precisely. And it's not just within the walls of temples or during intimate gatherings that this musical fusion comes alive. Festivals in Himachal Pradesh play a pivotal role in showcasing these traditions and bringing them to a wider audience.
Oh, I bet festivals in India are always so vibrant and full of life. I can imagine them being a perfect stage for music and celebration.
You're absolutely right. Take the Kulu Dussehra, for example. It's a world-renowned festival that draws visitors from all corners of the globe. And amidst all the spectacle and pageantry, classical music performances take center stage.
So it's not just about traditional rituals and ceremonies during these festivals.
Not at all. The Kulu Dussehra, like many other festivals in Himachal, becomes a platform for cultural exchange and artistic expression. You'll find classical musicians sharing the stage with folk artists, creating a dynamic blend of tradition and innovation.
So it's about honoring the past while also creating something new and exciting in the present.
Exactly. And then there's the Shimla Summer Festival, another grand celebration of culture and the arts. It's a fantastic opportunity to experience the beauty and diversity of Indian classical music with performances representing both Hindustani and Carnatic traditions.
Okay, my knowledge of Indian classical music is definitely expanding. I'm familiar with Hindustani music, but remind me about the key features of Carnatic music.
Carnatic music is primarily associated with South India. While it shares some core elements with Hindustani music, such as the use of ragas and talas, rhythmic cycles, Carnatic music has its own distinct melodic structures, rhythmic patterns, and repertoire. Think of it like a different dialect within the broader language of Indian classical music.
Ah, okay, so these festivals aren't just about preserving tradition, they're about creating opportunities for diverse musical encounters. It's like they're weaving together different musical threads to create a vibrant tapestry of sound.
And the influence of Himachali music extends far beyond the borders of the region. Believe it or not, it has even found its way into Bollywood.
Hold on, Bollywood. As in the Indian film industry, how is that possible?
Remember those Himachali folk tunes we discussed earlier? The ones with those subtle classical underpinnings?
Yeah.
Well, Bollywood composers have definitely taken notice. They've incorporated these melodies into film scores, creating a unique sound that resonates with audiences all across India.
So it's like those mountain melodies are now dancing on the silver screen.
Exactly. And it's not just about borrowing existing tunes. Bollywood composers are drawing inspiration from the fusion of folk and classical music that is so prevalent in Himachal. Imagine a scene set in the Himalayas and suddenly you hear that familiar lilt of a Himachali folk tune, reimagined with orchestral arrangements and the soulful strains of a sitar.
That's amazing. It's like Himachal's musical heritage is finding a whole new audience through these films.
And speaking of finding new audiences, Himachal Pradesh has played a significant role in reviving the ancient Dhrupad style of Indian classical music.
Ah, Dhrupad. That's the one known for its spiritual depth and meditative qualities, right? The one we talked about earlier that was influenced by monastic chants.
Precisely, Dhrupad is one of the oldest and most revered forms of Indian classical music, but it had fallen out of favor for a while. However, in recent years, it has experienced a resurgence in popularity, thanks in part to the efforts of musicians in Himachal Pradesh. They've incorporated a Dhrupad into their performances at festivals, temples, and classical music events.
So it's like they're rediscovering a lost treasure and sharing it with the world.
And in doing so, they're enriching the entire landscape of Indian classical music. It's a testament to the power of preservation and the enduring legacy of these ancient traditions.
It's incredible how Himachal Pradesh continues to surprise me with its musical depth and diversity. We've covered so much ground, from the spiritual echoes of ragas and temples to the lively fusion of folk and classical music on festival stages. And now we're seeing how those influences have reached far beyond the mountains themselves, even into the world of Bollywood and the revival of ancient traditions like Dhrupad.
It's a testament to the fact that music knows no boundaries, and that the sounds of Himachal Pradesh continue to reverberate throughout the world of Indian classical music.
I'm eager to see what other surprises await us. What's next on our journey?
Well, our exploration wouldn't be complete without delving into the efforts being made to ensure that this incredible musical heritage continues to thrive for generations to come. In Part 3, we'll explore the role of education tourism and contemporary collaborations in shaping the future of Himachali music.
Sounds like a fitting conclusion to our deep dive. I can't wait. And we're back for our final part of this deep dive into Himachal Pradesh and its influence on Indian classical music. And so far, we've uncovered so many fascinating connections, from folk music's roots to those surprising links with Bollywood. I mean, who'd have thought?
Right. And yet there's still more to uncover. In this last part, we're going to look at how Himachal Pradesh is actually working to ensure that its musical heritage continues to flourish for the future.
Now, that's something I'm really curious about. It's one thing to acknowledge the historical influence, but how do you make sure that those traditions stay alive and, vibrant?
For future generations? Well, it all starts with education. Thankfully, there are institutions in Himachal Pradesh that are really dedicated to passing on the knowledge and skills of Indian classical music.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you have any examples?
Sure. Himachal Pradesh University, or HPU as it's often called, has a whole Department of Performing Arts
Okay.
that offers a range of courses in Indian classical music. They cover everything from vocal training and instrumental techniques to music theory and even the history of ragas.
So you have a formal academic path for those who want to dedicate themselves to studying classical music.
Right.
But what about those more traditional hands-on approaches to learning? Are those still around in Himachal Pradesh?
Absolutely. The Gurukul system, which has been the backbone of Indian classical music education for centuries, is still very much alive and well in Himachal.
Now, for those of us who aren't familiar with the Gurukul system, can you explain how it works?
Of course. In a Gurukul, students live with their guru, their teacher, and learn through this direct immersive experience. It's not just about memorizing notes or techniques. It's about absorbing the essence of the music, understanding the nuances, the emotions, the spiritual connection that lies at the heart of Indian classical music.
It sounds incredibly intense, but also very rewarding. It's like a direct transmission of knowledge, a lineage that stretches back through generations.
Exactly. And it's not just about producing professional musicians. The Gurukul system's also about instilling a love and appreciation for classical music that can be carried throughout life, even if someone doesn't choose to pursue it as a career.
That's a beautiful thought. But, not everyone has the opportunity to attend a university or dedicate years to studying in a Gurukul. How does Himachal Pradesh make its musical traditions accessible to a wider audience?
Well, this is where tourism plays a really important role.
Okay.
You see, Himachal Pradesh is already a popular destination known for its natural beauty.
Right.
And many savvy tourism operators have recognized the appeal of incorporating cultural experiences into their offerings.
So you're saying that tourists aren't just coming for the mountain views, they're also looking for a taste of Himachali culture, including its music.
Precisely. Many resorts, hotels, and cultural centers now host live performances of Indian classical music. And they often blend those performances with elements of Himachali folk music to create a truly unique experience.
I can imagine myself sitting on a terrace, sipping chai, surrounded by the Himalayas, with the sounds of the sitar filling the air. That would be pretty amazing.
It's truly a magical experience.
Yeah.
And there are even initiatives like heritage walks in towns like Shimla and Dharamshala that incorporate live classical music, adding another dimension to those explorations of history and architecture.
So it's not just about passive listening. Tourists are actively engaging with the culture and experiencing Himachal Pradesh through its music.
And that engagement goes both ways. These performances provide opportunities for local musicians to showcase their talent and share their passion with the world.
It's a win-win situation. Now, you mentioned contemporary collaborations earlier. What role are those playing in the evolution of Himachali music?
Well, there's a whole new generation of musicians in Himachal who are taking those traditional folk melodies and fusing them with modern arrangements, electronic instruments, and even elements of jazz and world music.
Wow, that sounds really exciting. It's like they're building bridges between the past and the present, creating something entirely new while honoring their roots.
Exactly. And it's not just happening within Himachal. We're seeing collaborations between musicians from the region and artists from all over India and even internationally.
Do you have any specific examples of these collaborations that have really stood out?
One recent project that comes to mind involved a group of Himachali folk singers collaborating with a renowned electronic music producer from Berlin. They took traditional songs and reimagined them with modern beats, synthesizers, and even samples of nature sounds recorded in the Himalayas.
That's incredible. It sounds like a truly global fusion of sound blending ancient melodies with cutting-edge technology.
And it's not just about experimentation. These collaborations are also helping to bring Himachal music to a global audience, introducing new listeners to the unique sounds and rhythms of the region.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Himachal Pradesh and its influence on Indian classical music, what's the key takeaway for our listeners? What do you want them to remember?
Himachal Pradesh is a place where music is woven into the very fabric of life. It's a place where ancient traditions and modern innovations coexist, where the sounds of the mountains echo through centuries of musical history.
Right.
And this music is alive, it's evolving, it's reaching out to new audiences and inspiring new generations of artists.
It's a reminder that music has the power to transcend boundaries, to connect us to our heritage, and to inspire us to create something new and beautiful.
So if you're looking for a truly unique and enriching musical experience, I encourage you to explore the sounds of Himachal Pradesh. You might be surprised by what you discover.
That's a great suggestion. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed this journey with us. Until next time, keep exploring the world of sound.